Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler, and this time we look at something that I didn't know existed until recently, but I think is really pretty cool. So I began a hunt to find all the different editions or different volumes of what we are going to see this time around. This is something I became aware of because Matt Bush posted about it on Facebook, and then somebody, Rob Payne, a member of the Star Wars Home Video group, then reposted that post into the Star Wars Home Video group as sort of a, hey, does anybody have these? And I'd never heard of it. And then thanks to Matt DeRocher, I was able to figure out, when he showed his collection, that there are actually 3 items in this particular set that we're looking at. So what is it? It's all about drawing Star Wars. You may recall that in 2007, there was this book released out there. I actually owned it back then, got rid of it. Now I have repurchased this thing years and years and years later. It's from Lucas Books and Dorling Kindersley. It is You Can Draw Star Wars by Bonnie Burton, illustrated by Matt Bush and Tom Hodges. As inside, trace overlays, fold-out pages, stencils. On the spine there, Lucas Books, You Can Draw Star Wars, Bonnie Burton, DK logo. On the back, You Can Draw Star Wars, the complete guide to drawing Jedi, Sith, aliens, and starships from the Star Wars galaxy. Master the essential comic book arts of penciling, inking, and coloring. Develop your drawing skills using new artworks, trace overlays, fold-out pages, and stencils. Learn to draw vehicles, clothing, and weapons to enhance your figures. Get exciting tips on how to make your own comic. Pick up a pencil and get drawing. Price, Lucas Books, and DK with the UPC there. And it is really kind of a cool book. It's kind of a thin book. But what you got here is essentially different suggestions of techniques, of the tips of the trade, the tools. This is what they mean by that overlay, the ability to kind of take this overlay here with Han, add different overlays to kind of show the steps of building out that form, suggestions on action poses, and so on. Lots of really cool, really interesting stuff. And it is spiral bound inside to make it a little bit more durable in that regard, as you're going back and forth and back and forth and so forth with this. A cool little book. I am still someone who thinks that unless you already have a lot of artistic talent, the You Can Draw Star Wars aspect of this is kind of funny because the idea is, it's supposed to be that anybody can do it. Lord knows I can't. I am horrible. I am terrible. No. You can draw Star Wars. I can't, so to speak. But a really kind of cool book of the time. And eventually there were other series like Learn to Draw Star Wars. It was out there as a multi-book series. But this was kind of like a nice little piece in 2007 to really kind of spark more discussion about drawing Star Wars. And with this, there was a web series of videos called How to Draw Star Wars, hosted by Star Wars artists, and one of the 2 artists of this, Matt Bush. And he would always start every episode with, "Hi, I'm Matt Bush, and you can draw Star Wars," and usually ending with a bit about how the most important part is that you're having fun. Well, for the sort of promotional circuit out there, episodes of that web series actually ran for 3 seasons on StarWars.com, then it was on MySpace TV, if you remember MySpace TV, begging for the top 8 spaces, as Weird Al says, and then also on YouTube, where you can actually see the series now in high definition, much better viewing quality. They took those, which, if the information on the cover is correct, that what we're getting here on the home video release we're going to see is actually 4 times the resolution of the original. That means the original release online must have been 180 by 120 in terms of resolution, which is pretty freaking awful. Because you're looking at 720 by 480 for DVD, and that's exactly what this is. They took the entire first season initially, I believe in 2007, and put it, based on the copyright date, and put them onto a little promo DVD in DVD level resolution. This is the first volume of You Can Draw Star Wars. Again, the series is called How to Draw Star Wars, but they gave it the name of the book, probably again for cross-promotional purposes. So we have here, I'll hold it up closer in a second. You Can Draw Star Wars includes all 7 exciting webisodes. Picture of the book, as seen on StarWars.com, now on DVD at 4 times the resolution. You have the art here. It's part of his 30th anniversary of New Hope poster, kind of the bottom portion. DK, Dorling Kindersley, for promotion only, hosted by Matt Bush. Then the spine actually does say, You Can Draw Star Wars, Matt Bush, or hosted by Matt Bush. In the back, which I'll go through and read, has a webisode listing here, some information, cast, crew, images from it, and then various stuff down here at the bottom running across that we'll look at here. So running across the bottom, you got StarWars.com, KidsDK.com, MattBush.com, the DK and Planet Matte logos, and then DVD, Dolby Digital, for promotion only. This item is not intended for retail, copyright 2007. The webisodes listed are preparations, light and shadow, drawing, inking, wash painting, opaque painting, color pencils, bonus trailer. We'll look at those here in a second. And then the text, which reads, join Star Wars artist Matt Bush as he takes you through the adventures of drawing and painting your favorite characters, aliens, droids, and vehicles from the galaxy far, far away. From creating ideas with thumbnails to drawing complex objects, from inking striking images to painting the final brushstroke, Bush takes you through every detailed step of creating a Star Wars poster. Combining humor with cutting-edge storytelling, Bush's teaching techniques will keep you on the edge of your seat and smiling during the entire ride. So break out the sketchbook and sharpen that pencil as Bush reminds us that practice is a must, but never lose sight that drawing is all about having fun. Okay. And on the inside, it is a folding jacket, which is kind of nice here. You have more here that you can draw Star Wars, Matt Bush there, information about him, information about each of the episodes, and an advertisement on this side for the book, of course, because again, it's meant to be promotional. And then the disc itself inside is this. More pieces there of his poster. You Can Draw Star Wars, hosted by Matt Bush. DVD at the top, some legalese. Notice it does not say anywhere Volume 1 or anything, because kind of like with World War I, right? They didn't call it World War I until there was a second one, because why would you have known to call it a 1? Or like the first Battle of Bull Run, Encyclopedia Brown. That's a reference there. But it's really kind of a cool little DVD release here. It has a trailer for Season 1, which is basically what's on here, and it has the first 7 episodes. Again, the 7 episodes are on, lots of notes here, preparation, light and shadow, drawing, inking, wash painting, opaque painting, and then colored pencils. It's all focused on him working on the 30th anniversary A New Hope poster that he did. Again, I believe it was released in 2007. The total runtime, 58 minutes and 19 seconds. Always that same kind of opening, different music, different, sketchy type stuff. He's kind of funny and has little skits and whatnot, which are kind of fun. He's not the only one in it. Bonnie Burton, the writer of the book, actually does like a little narration sometimes even talking to him as if she is there, although it really feels phoned in. Not like bad performance phoned in, but it sounds like telephone quality audio, so who knows how they recorded that. Again, practice makes perfect, but make sure you're having fun is in there. I love the fact that there's an episode in here in which he's talking about stuff, but he's dressed as a Jedi, holding a toy or a prop, whatever it is, lightsaber, replica lightsaber hilt. And Bonnie, as this narrator, keeps like prodding him, I bet you can't even turn it on. I bet it's even a fake lightsaber or whatever, right? Until eventually he turns it on, and of course, with the backing of, the Star Wars folks, he actually is able to show like, a lightsaber effect on it and all. But there's a fun point at which, I'm assuming this is purposeful, he refers to the idea of if he lit his lightsaber, it would be a vulgar display of power. Now, to me, I almost jumped out of my seat because that's a Pantera reference. Granted, my favorite Pantera album is still the one with Cowboys from Hell and Cemetery Gates, which is Cowboys from Hell, but Vulgar Display of Power was a heck of an album from Pantera at the time. I don't know. That's gotta be an intentional reference there for Vulgar Display of Power. But I digress. But he's going towards Pantera in some references, and he's got a whole episode where he's basically dressed essentially and acting like Bob Ross, and it's dedicated to the memory of Bob Ross, talking about a happy little interrogation droid. There's like an episode that's kind of like behind the art that's done in like an E! True Hollywood Story type form. It's just a really funny setup to this. It's an engaging thing, even if you're not into drawing yourself or have much artistic talent in that regard yourself. It's cool to watch how it all comes together. You're not going to just learn how to do it by watching any more than by reading the book. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of other techniques, certainly, but he does it in an entertaining, fun sort of way. But that first season is all encapsulated on that first DVD. But there is another, because seemingly in 2008, we also got You Can Draw Star Wars Volume 2, again hosted by Matt Bush, DK for promotional only, as seen on StarWars.com, now on DVD at 4 times the resolution, includes all 7 Season 2 episodes, and an image of the book up there in the corner again. You Can Draw Star Wars, a Volume 2, hosted by Matt Bush. Then on the back, one of the things that they show is him doing the Revenge of the Sith circus style poster. So text here will read, episode listing. These get further and further away from the episodes actually having their names in the listing, so it gets a little confusing sometimes. We'll see that mainly with Volume 3. cast crew information, websites, logos, DVD, Dolby Digital for promotional purposes, kind of set up like the other one was. The text this time says, well, it should sound familiar. Join artist Matt Bush as he takes you through his continuing adventures in drawing your favorite characters from Star Wars. From simple sketching to painting the final brushstroke, Bush guides you through every detailed step. Combining humor and cutting-edge storytelling, Bush's teaching techniques will keep you entertained while learning insider tricks of the trade. So break out the sketchbook and sharpen that pencil while Bush reminds us that practice is a must, but that drawing is all about having fun. Wait a damn minute here. Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but mostly the same in terms of the text there on the back. On the inside, again, you just have the advertisement over here for You Can Draw Star Wars, the little bio with him, with the title and whatnot, and episode listing. Once again, we will see that is not the case for the third volume. And then inside, of course, the DVD, the shot there, DVD, You Can Draw Star Wars, Volume 2, hosted by Matt Bush. A little bit of legalese going around the top there, top edge. This one, as it says, includes the next 7 episodes, which are number 8, On the Road, where he's in London for Celebration Europe and whatnot, talking about sketchbooks and such. There is an episode on stormtroopers, and he does, by the way, mention things like having people who have costumes doing posing for him to get different shots, different reference shots for characters than what you would typically see from the most common ones we see all the time, which is kind of cool. That Stormtroopers episode, episode 9, also includes Ken Tarleton, the Elvis Trooper. Then there are 2 episodes focusing on him making that Sith Circus poster that are actually entitled Sith Circus Part 1 and Part 2, but are listed in the chapter listing as Sith Sketching and Sith Painting. There's a bit that starts with those episodes where he does like a parody where he's dressed as Indiana Jones and kind of going out there to find stuff. There's a point in Volume 1 where Jawas steal his Darth Vader tire cover off of his Hummer, and one of the Jawa costumes, I guess, is reused here to be Short Round, so his version of Short Round is a Jawa. There's episodes where he is in the desert. Those are the ones for comic books. It's 2 comic book episodes, episodes 12 and 13, which are shots and angles and then page layout. And there's a storyboarding chapter. It's episode number 14. But for whatever reason, the episode itself says 13 again. So the second one for comic books is 13, but then so is storyboarding, which is supposed to be 14. But it's really kind of neat to me because it shows stuff about things like aspect ratios and shot types and whatnot. So for someone who's into the movie side of things, or the home video side of things especially, that's a really cool episode to watch. If you're into the Star Wars home video stuff, which you surely are if you're watching this, but you're not really into the art side of things, watch his episode on storyboarding. Again, it is How to Draw Star Wars, or You Can Draw Star Wars, whatever you want to call it. Episode 14 is on his YouTube channel. Definitely worth a watch in that regard. But that's all kind of an organized structure for what we see there on Disc 2, Volume 2. Again, little promotional discs being given away at conventions and whatnot. And then we have the end of the series, the least organized of these, which is How to Draw Star Wars, Volume 3. All of a sudden, the name changes from being a wrong name for the program, but a reference to the book, to being the right name of the program, but dropping the reference to the book, at least in terms of the title. Includes all 13 Season 3 episodes. We'll see how that's kind of a mess. But then we have a cover of the book again, Volume 3, hosted by Matt Bush, DK for promotion only, and then DVD video down here. Spine, How to Draw Star Wars, Volume 3, hosted by Matt Bush. Then the back, kind of confusing, honestly. It says, here's where the fun begins. Then we have episodes, the episode listing, the chapter listing on the DVD for the individual episodes, kind of, and the actual names of the episodes really don't match in this case, so we'll talk about the actual episode titles in a moment. Information about it, images, cast, crew, Lucasfilm, DK, Planet Matt, MattBush.com, DVD, Dolby Digital for promotion only. This item is not intended for retail. Copyright 2008 Lucasfilm Limited. I call BS. There are episodes on here where at the end, the Matt Bush or Planet Matt image shows up at the end as part of the credits, and it has a copyright date going all the way up to 2012, which makes sense because 2012 was when the last episode was actually released. He was working on the series for 6 years, going back to when he started actually filming in 2006. Presumably 2007 and 2008 presumably are accurate for those, but not so much for this. This was definitely 2012 or later as far as the actual physical release goes. As to what it says in the box, no surprise, Star Wars artist Matt Bush takes you through the adventures of drawing and painting your favorite characters, aliens, and droids from a galaxy far, far away. Season 3 completes the epic series, but the episodes are standalone, and the tips, tricks, and techniques are fantastic for both beginners and more serious aspiring artists alike. Combining humor and cutting-edge storytelling, Bush keeps you on the edge of your seat and smiling during the entire ride. So break out the sketchbook and sharpen your pencil, because Matt will finally prove that you can draw Star Wars. And I will say, as much as that is repeating some of the same text again, I do like that in the final episode he ends with basically like, if you've been following all these ideas and techniques, then you know you can draw Star Wars. I love the end cap nature of that, the repeating phrases, but, you know, I'm the guy who always says, you know, may the force be with the home video viewers and all. So I kind of like the idea of like another tagline-y type in and out type things. In any event here, on the inside, very differently designed. So we have How to Draw Star Wars by Matt Bush. We don't have the bio type stuff, but we have a message from him. And then rather than over here having the advertisement for the book, is for his interactive sketchbook app that he has, which is a pretty cool app that got very rave reviews at the time. The message here from him says, "Hi, I'm Matt Bush, and you can draw Star Wars. Seriously, you can do anything you put your mind to. With a little passion and a little elbow grease, anything is possible. 6 years ago, I illustrated nearly 400 drawings and paintings for a book called You Can Draw Star Wars. And through that opportunity, Lucasfilm and DK Publishing offered me an even larger one. I was given free rein to create videos that would show killer techniques the way I like to teach them. I set out with a plan to do 3 seasons of episodes. While an overall sequential arc was intended, each episode was also designed to be standalone, both in course material and the flavor of skits in between. Over 24 episodes later, these videos have inspired kids of all ages, me being the biggest, and shattered records the world over. I hope you're one who has found these helpful, and at the very least entertaining. Now the trilogy is complete. It's been an incredible journey, but the horizon is still vast, so I hope you would join me in the adventures yet to come. In the meantime, keep at it, stay persistent, and by all means, make sure you're having fun. Matt Bush." And then the disc itself is featuring a Clone Wars poster that he is working on in one of the episodes here, copyright up at the top, DVD on the side, How to Draw Star Wars Volume 3, hosted by Matt Bush. Weird that they changed the title midstream, but at least now it matches what the show was actually called. But as far as episodes go, this one is the craziest mixture here. First off, the menus are widescreen. The copyright warning in front of it is stretched to fit widescreen. A little bit weird there. The episodes themselves are 4:3, as they were for the other 2, all the way up until episode 21, which is the first one to go widescreen, and then episode 22, the final episode, is also set up in widescreen. But the order of episodes is a little odd. It starts with episode 18. The last one had ended with episode 14, including a cliffhanger in the little Indiana Jones parody type thing saying to be continued. But the disc starts with episode 18 about sketch cards. Star Wars weekends and so forth, for example. The Star Wars Galaxies 5 sketch cards, the trading card set with the sketch cards, are focusing on the sketch cards for those. Episode 17 then, jumping back a number, on anime and manga, where a lot of that is actually in Japanese subtitle, as he is actually speaking Japanese in that episode. Then we have episode 15, which is actually the one that would have come after episode 14, but actually doesn't pick up the cliffhanger of the whole Indiana Jones skit. And it leads into episode 16, which actually doesn't have a title in the DVD. Like, usually it's, here's the opening titles, here's the episode number and title, and then we're into the episode. Episode 16 is is easy to miss, tough to find, because it actually doesn't have the opening, because it's a 2-parter basically, and it goes straight into the next episode here. And I have to wonder if episodes 15 and 16 could even be made today, because they're all about drawing Slave Leia. Slave Leia Part 1 is what is actually labeled as for the first one, the second one presumably Part 2, but no title on it. But it's in cooperation with the folks from Leia's Metal Bikini, and they get to a point where it's like the, oh geez, pretty girl kind of jokes and whatnot, until finally you have different people in Slave Leia costumes from a convention having girl fights in the lobby, in a hotel room with pillows, a girl cat fight in one of the hotel halls and outside to knock Matt into the water, and when he gets piled on, he escapes, but he has all kinds of Kiss lipstick all over his face. I can't imagine that episode or that pair of episodes being made today because of modern sensibilities, but it's about drawing the Slave Leia look. Then we have episode 19, because we already had episode 18, so now we're kind of caught up to where it would be, which is where he's looking at the Clone Wars thing I just showed you, that little Asajj Ventress image on the disc, that particular poster that he's focused on for Fan Days 2, that is actually where the Indiana Jones bit from episode 14 finally does continue in episode 19. Then we have episode 20, which is the first of a mailbag episode, so mailbag part 1, talking about a Lego Star Wars sketch card puzzle, when prints are made and when prints are signed, more about airbrushing with a demo with Tatooine, animatics information, talking about Garandan, one of his favorite characters, digital drawing and talking about his interactive sketchbook, his Vader tire cover and whether he ever takes the Hummer off-roading. Then we get episode 21, the first in widescreen, which is more mailbag, as it's called. That one looks at what he himself collects, including various life-size statues and whatnot of Star Wars characters. He talks about how, thanks to his work on Star Wars Kids, there's an RA-7 droid named MB-RA-7 after him at this point. Shows a Boba Fett Mighty Mug. There's a Vader versus Indy image that he shows. His favorite erasers, which is actually an outtake from when they recorded episode 3 of the series. His wedding photos, talks about tone paper, talks about Star Wars zombies being a thing for a while there, and part of the Hollywood is Dead program. He has an interactive sketchbook and how to go to full screen with it, and things like his new Hummer at the end. And then finally, episode 22 ends the journey with the final episode here called Breaking Into the Biz, that's broken up into parts called Getting Started, Showing Your Work, Networking, Marketing and Branding, and Final Thoughts, which is done as sort of a parody of The Empire Strikes Back, mainly the Yoda and Luke scenes on Dagobah, where Matt is basically Luke, and there's Yoda, except they're all done with, like, puppets, like Muppet-style puppets, which is kind of interesting. The ghost of Obi-Wan is actually the ghost of Bob Ross in it, and the dark side is the digital side, and so forth, and trying to address the idea of working digitally being different, but using some of the same skills and so on. But a nice kind of end cap there. But that means that this last one, where the first ones went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, easy, as across the two, this one goes 18, 17, 15, 16 with no title, 19, 20, 21, 22. But it does include them all. Now, is that 13 episodes, as it says up here? No, it's not. Why? Because when they were released online, many of them were cut into smaller pieces. There were 13 chunked episodes online, but they were actually meant to be more combined episodes, and once you do combine all those bits and pieces, you get episodes 15 through 22 to round everything out here. So across these 3 DVDs, you get the entirety in DVD resolution rather than online resolution, or now high definition on YouTube. You get the entirety of the How to Draw Star Wars series by Matt Bush, meant in part to promote You Can Draw Star Wars from Bonnie Burton with art by Matt Bush and Tom Hodges. I found it a fascinating thing to watch. Now, it's hard to find these online, but there's actually an easy way to get them that I found. So if you're looking on eBay, you're going to tend to find the second one frequently enough, but tough to find the other ones. For me, I actually found the first one, not realizing there was a third, and the person I bought it from had it stolen from their porch when it was left for the USPS. So that got canceled. So I had to find it another way. And it turns out that if you go to Matt Bush's website, you can order various stuff of his. Like I ordered the Worlds of Matt Bush book and the Star Wars Celebration 2 program. Now, were those really what I was after? No. But they have an offer on there that as long as he still has them, you can find all 3 of these on there with a price of 0. They were in the wrong order here, but all 3 of these with a price of 0. He can't sell them, but if you purchase a book or a DVD, and then you add the 0 cost item of one of these DVDs to your cart, it gets thrown in as an item with the item you're actually buying. So I made 2 orders at different times. Once I got to that celebration program, and it included this. And then the next time, having already gotten this one from eBay, I was able to put in an order for the Worlds of Matt Bush and get this, which is cool. And moreover, he packs the packages with extra cool stuff. Like there's an Aladdin 3477 signed card here. Some of his really cool stickers that are like rip-offs or take-offs, parodies of like Real War logos like Taco Fett for Taco Bell. Got a signed card here from one of the celebrations from Celebration Europe 2016. the magazine for Aladdin 3477, which I really want to see, but it's crowdfunded on Kickstarter a while back. It just hasn't found a distributor yet, from what I understand. Just oddball little goodies tossed into the package. But the key thing is, if you're looking for the You Can Draw / How to Draw Star Wars DVDs, there is a way to still get them as long as he still has them sitting in, the warehouse or wherever it is. Put in an order through mattbush.com. It is limited to 1 per book or DVD that you buy. There's other stuff, because of the nature of what the packaging would be to send it, that they can't stick it into as a free item, so make sure you read the descriptions and all. But mattbush.com is the best place to find it. That's MATTBUSCH.com. I am glad to have found them, and my thanks also to Sebastian, Seb, from Star Wars on Direct, one of my fellow podcasters years ago, who's a buddy, who actually was in touch with Matt Bush, who was able to clarify a little bit for me about how the numbers of episodes kind of differed between what was seen in the episode numbering versus what is actually said here, and how it would have shown up online in the first place that I addressed for you a little bit ago. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers and those who draw Star Wars. I don't think I really can, but certainly if you watch these, you'll be one step closer to doing it yourself.